Hey everybody, welcome back to another Friday episode of The Clydes. Liz, how are you feeling tonight?
I feel mentally exhausted.
Exhausted, but you sound great.
Thanks. My husband does a cool mixer or audio, whatever it's called.
Audio tricks, yeah.
That one.
Basically, I'm just kidding. I won't go into all those details. Those are kind of boring and lame. But I'm excited. Tonight's going to be cool. We were on a walk with Matthias earlier tonight. We talked about kind of what we were going to talk about. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. But first, we got to continue it, Liz. What cup are you drinking from tonight?
So this is not a Starbucks cup tonight.
Gasp.
This is my Totoro teacup. It has a cute little teacup and a saucer. It comes with a matching spoon as well, but that's downstairs. And Princeton gave this to me for my birthday.
What a guy.
And Totoro is just like a fun little Studio Ghibli anime movie character.
Wait, they should know who Totoro is.
He's the GOAT.
If they don't,
anime,
man.
I think. I mean, they might not know. We might not have nerds listening to this podcast.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. Totoro is great.
Totoro.
I'll never forget, just to let everybody know, that the first time I saw My Neighbor Totoro,
I didn't mean to, I'm sorry.
I went into a theater, excited to see it with my wifey, and the whole thing was in Japanese.
You probably weren't that excited. So, Studio Ghibli, it's pretty much, I guess, Marvel is to superheroes as Studio Ghibli is to anime movie.
Wow.
Specifically, Hayao Miyazaki's production of Studio Ghibli films. They're just perfection.
They're really good.
And so during the summer, they usually have like a Studio Ghibli Fest where they play some of his top movies in theaters. So of course I go there and I convinced my husband to go, and I did not pay attention. There was English dub and English sub.
Which one did we get?
We got the English sub, meaning Japanese.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. It was still funny though, even though I didn't know what in the world was going on. It was really good.
But that wasn't your first Ghibli movie. I introduced you to like Howl's Moving Castle. You watched that before.
Howl's was my first, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think before that, you had to watch Spirited Away with me because that's another one of my favorite.
We started it, but I do remember it being so long for my attention span that we stopped like maybe a third of the way through, which is terrible.
But now, I mean, as I've collected and bought the movies, you've seen quite a few.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you came downstairs from filming an episode with your other podcast today while I was cooking dinner to Ponyo.
Ponyo is great. I love that one.
Yeah. It felt like a nice one that I could just put in the background and just have playing.
And we did so much Studio Ghibli stuff when we went to Japan. We probably should do a whole episode just talking about Japan.
We should.
We'll do that down the road.
That's a good idea. We should definitely do that. I love that. Because then we can pull out some pictures and look at those and talk about what's happening for everybody. And
reminisce.
Yeah. Oh.
You're like, you just had to have been there, Japan, you know?
That's incredible.
Just
I love that.
Be bougie.
Yeah, I mean, not that this is ever about what I'm drinking from, but I have tea as well tonight, which is unusual.
It is unusual.
But here I am.
I'm kind of making him drink tea with me. It's supposed to, he's always talked about wanting better memory. And this tea, well, what's the herb I always mispronounce?
I think it's ginseng.
Ginseng. It's a Chinese herb pretty much. And it's supposed to be good for memory retention. And he always talks about he wish he had a better memory. So I bought this tea.
I don't remember saying that.
We will see. You see what I did?
Okay, anyways. Hey, to dive into, by the way.
Yes.
Listening back to the podcast of myself talking, I pick up on so many quirks that I have, like that right there. When I'm trying to make a hard shift into something in like a conversation with somebody or whatever, it's always like, anyway, so, and I've just learned that about myself.
So happy for you.
Yeah. Self-awareness, I guess. But I'm going to be real honest with you, Liz.
Yes.
I forgot what we were going to talk about tonight. The tea is not working. And you just put your palm on your face because you don't remember either.
Oh, we had it.
We did have it.
Oh my gosh.
We were walking Matthias. Got it.
Okay, but in my defense,
got it.
Since we usually talk about all week, I have been at teacher training in Columbia all week. So
How's it going?
I'm not a certified teacher. Spoiler, and
But
they
you are
still let me.
Starbucks broke.
I am Starbucks broke. So because they pulled me from the streets in the industry, I had to take these extra classes to get my certification. Kind of like, adult education type deal. And last summer, I stayed in Columbia, which is about an hour and a half from Charleston. But classes end at 3:30, and I was so bored. And they don't cover food. And so then I was eating out for lunch and dinner every night. And I was bored.
And you didn't drive, so you were buying somebody who was driving Starbucks
Well, no,
every day.
this was last summer, Taylor.
Oh, I apologize. I missed the time skip.
This summer, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just drive back and forth.
Yep.
But now I have a teacher friend who's also doing these classes with me, and they are driving back and forth.
Shout out to her.
And I'm riding shotgun. But because of that, I show up at her house. So it's an hour and a half drive, but it's 20 minutes for her house. So I'm like 2 hours in the car there and back. And I get her Starbucks. So we leave at the butt crack of dawn.
Too early.
And then I get home about 5:30, which is nice because that's your home.
Normal.
Yeah, it's like an just ungodly morning, but kind of like a normal work night. I'm just mentally exhausted being 8 hours sitting in a classroom. Those chairs are not comfy.
Now you know what it feels like to be one of your students.
Yeah, that's why I give them a lot of slack because it's miserable. It's mind-numbing. And I'm going to be honest, I am the worst student, guys. I do the bare minimum. I was watching Netflix in the corner of my computer screen. I'm the worst.
Tough.
But it's still mind-numbing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it can't be that interesting. It's training stuff.
Yeah, they're training me to be a better teacher. Gross.
Yeah, and it makes us sound really bad for saying that. But also, man, come on. How interesting could it be?
Either you know classroom management or you don't. So, and it's some stuff is really good, but then we have a lot of self-work. And we have assignments to turn in too, and I'm just really quick with my assignments. So, like today I was done with one assignment, and I asked, have you posted it yet so I can turn it in? And the instructor was like, are you already done? Yeah.
Oh, so it's like college. When you're like, hey, professor, have you graded this assignment yet? And
I don't
they're
even
like,
care. And it's not even like a letter grade or a number grade. It's either you did it or you didn't do it. So I'm not putting that much effort in, to be honest, because it's not graded. So I'm doing it for completion.
You're an inspiration, Liz.
It's still good. I mean, my outline was praised today.
In front of everybody,
in
publicly?
In front of everyone.
Wow.
I had the best outline, and I spent the least amount of time on it.
Good for you.
Thank you. Google helped.
Hey, use the tools you have.
Exactly.
Use the tools that you
So
have.
that's why I'm exhausted, just mentally drained, but it's almost over.
Yep. And then the school year starts. And then it just...
And then we count down until I think it's like
Winter
Labor
break?
Day. Well, no, first you got to do Labor Day.
That's
you
a break
count down,
for you?
do the you get that Monday off.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay.
you count down the 3-day weekend, and then it's Thanksgiving, then
Yes,
it's Christmas,
bless.
and then we just try and like brace ourselves until spring break. Then after spring break, everyone is checked out. Me, the students.
No, that's terrible.
Like everyone is just waiting for summer, and then it's summer and more teacher training. But I should be almost done. I'm almost done.
There's 4 total that you have to do, right?
Correct.
Wow. It's a lot. Dang, that's a
Better
lot.
than paying for a 4-year degree and going to legit college. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's true. And this is free, right?
I have to pay my own expenses and stuff. So the classes are free, but I have to pay for like my gas up there and food but they covered my hotel last year. I just did not want to stay. I was so bored. I missed you. I missed my dog.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
He's literally just sleeping on the floor under you right now.
Because he missed me.
What a guy.
So how was your week?
My week was great. Wrapped up day 14. This is a nice accountability, I guess, for 75 hard for me. Finished up day 14 of that. And that was really nice. And I don't know what it is, but this week, for some reason, has me feeling really sharp mentally.
It's the tea.
It's the ginseng tea. Ginseng tea? Ginseng tea?
Please let us know.
Maybe not. Just let me be ignorant and happy in peace. But it's been nice. I think it's working out early in the morning always gives me a good like mental sharpness for the day. So that's pretty good. You can't fall asleep, Liz.
I'm not falling asleep. I just have my eyes closed while listening to you.
Is my voice that soothing?
Yes.
Wow. Don't worry. We'll wrap this up really quick for you so
we haven't
you can...
even gotten into what we were talking about that I still haven't remembered.
We're losing our audience.
Just recap your week so we can talk about what we talked about.
We can get to my really good segue into our conversation.
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited about that. Just wait, everybody. So yeah, it's been nice. I think I think that the morning exercises for real before work do give me that jolt of I don't know, mental sharpness, which is really nice. Plus, I walked into the workday feeling way accomplished because I've already done so much, and it's really nice. So that's been good. But I mean, I had a staff meeting earlier. Boring stuff, right? But I had a staff meeting earlier in the week, and our lead pastor was there, and some executive pastors, and for some reason, I was just mentally sharp, and I just felt confident to be able to share ideas and all that kind of fun stuff. And it was nice. So even just that, for some reason, this week feels really good, and I think it's because
of the tea. I'm just kidding.
Yes, because the tea. I think it's because I found my sweet spot.
That's what we're talking about.
What a nice segue, Liz.
I hate how often you say segue on this podcast.
I have said it a lot. And I never ever say it, but...
Ever.
We say it a lot now.
Not we.
It was a seamless transition, though, right?
Good job.
So I would love for us, in the spirit of that, I would love for us to talk about finding kind of our sweet spot. And man, I don't know. I'd like us to talk about what that could mean in our workplaces, what that means in our relationship, what that means in maybe church life, what that means in our sphere of influence, maybe with our friendships and relationships, stuff like that. But I'd like to kind of talk about that if you're open to it.
Yeah. So my question for you is how would you define your sweet spot? Not your sweet spot. What is a sweet spot in your own words?
Yeah, maybe we should have prepped a little bit before we talked about it. Nah, just kidding. I think for me, I'm sure I heard this from somewhere. I think one of the wisdom books in the Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. So we're all just regurgitating lines and stuff from books or quotes from other people. But I think I heard somewhere along the line that your sweet spot / you can replace sweet spot with purpose. The word purpose is at the intersection of your talents and your passions. So you got a line and you got going straight like one way, and it's your talents, the stuff that you're good at, your giftings, the natural, or the things that come naturally to you rather. And then you've got a perpendicular? No, a parallel would be this way.
No, you're right. Perpendicular.
A perpendicular line.
Or crossroads, if you will.
Right there at that intersection, at that perpendicular point or whatever. You've got your passions, the things that you don't mind doing, the stuff that gives you life. Right there at that intersection between talent and passion, I think you get your purpose or your sweet spot. And that's the stuff that, I mean, we laughed earlier how we were talking about this morning, you woke up at 4 a.m. to work on a cake.
Yes.
Which is insane to me. There should never, ever be a 4 a.m. to me. Like, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. because you had to wake up at 5 a.m. this week to do the Columbia stuff. But
just to let you guys know, I get ready in 15 minutes.
Oh.
So it's not I'm waking up so I can have an hour to get ready. That's just the start of the day.
It's tragic, but that is so early to do something like that. And when I think about waking up at 4 a.m., even for things that could be side projects or side hustles, whatever, for me, 4 a.m. is insane. There are not many things at all that I would wake up at 4 a.m. excited to do, but it's exciting for you.
I mean, I wouldn't say exciting.
Okay.
But it's easy for me. I don't love it all the time because whenever that alarm goes off, it's
Just want to throw it.
It's not great. But
Throw it out the window.
I know for me, if I have a cake to do and I have a very busy week, kind of like this week, and I know I am most functional and I'm most productive in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I try and get what I don't want to do, I know later, done in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's my sweet spot. Mm-hmm. If you will.
I think a lot of that has to do with your energy levels. So Carey Nieuwhof is one of my, he's a phenomenal leader. And he's written several books, but one of the most recent books that I've got to read, and I keep forgetting about this, is all based around watching and operating in your energy levels. So you find the time in your day where you are the sharpest mentally and emotionally. And for most people, I would argue that it is in the morning because you haven't had a lot of things, tensions or stresses or influence that kind of come along and just kind of push you down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's really finding those rhythms of energy and then really doing that. For me, that is the morning time.
Yeah, because when it comes to night, I'm ready to veg out.
With tea?
With tea. Don't know why I sung that. But even as you pointed out, like I'm doing long blinks. I've had a long day.
Yeah.
And to try and bake a cake right now, nah.
Not happening.
No shot. And usually I will, because I want the cake as fresh as possible. I don't like to bake my cakes days in advance. Like 3 days is max, but preferably for me, 2 days. I love doing it the day before. Yeah. And so I'll wake up, bake it in the morning. I'm sharp. I can go ahead and get everything cleaned up and prepped and get the kitchen ready. So when I get off of work, it's already ready for me to decorate at night. And decorating is what's most fun for me. So it doesn't take as much mental energy. It doesn't take as much physical energy, really. And I look forward to it. So I try and get, baking, the least interesting part to me is the actual mixing of ingredients, putting in the pan, waiting for it to bake. But then I'm going to need my mixing bowl later for icing, so then I can go ahead and get the mixing bowl cleaned and prep. And
sure.
So it's a process. Definitely have to be organized.
It's funny to me, though, because even as you're describing that, I'm sitting here going, man, the mornings are so... That's my sacred time. I literally call the mornings sacred.
Oh, yeah, because you work out, but you don't really work in the morning.
I don't work. Now, I'll say this. I do all of my most important stuff early in the morning. So as soon as I get to work, like this morning is a perfect example. So we use Basecamp, which is like a project management software.
Communications.
It's how we collaborate across campuses and all that kind of departments and fun stuff. And so we use Basecamp to do all that stuff. So this morning, as soon as I got into work, I'm on Basecamp and we outsource our graphic design with designers literally all over the world, and in different time zones, which is really fun to navigate. But I'm sitting there and I'm collaborating. I'm going back and forth on these projects, pushing them forward, talking to designers, talking to project managers, all this kind of stuff. And I'm responding to some emails pretty quick, and I'm doing all of my creative stuff early and knocking out a huge amount of stuff, because that is when I'm most sharp and when I can do the most creative things and when it's actually worth something. If I wait until 3 p.m., it's not happening.
Dude, after lunch? Nah.
No, especially today. I had Viva.
I went to a place in Columbia called... Because also, when I went by myself last year, guys, I ate Chick-fil-A every single lunch.
Lame.
I love Chick-fil-A.
We do love Chick-fil-A, though.
I love not having to really think about what I'm doing.
I just had this conversation with some other friends yesterday.
Like, I know what I like.
Yeah.
But the person I'm riding with, I guess her husband's from Columbia, so she knows all, the local places. Not even the... Yeah. So it's called Lizard Thicket.
I've heard of Lizard's Thicket.
Have you?
Yes.
I thought it was weird.
I've seen signs for it.
It was country cooking. It was I prefer Cracker Barrel personally.
Yeah.
Because of breakfast, but it was all right. Mm-hmm. But it was carbs on carbs on carbs.
Everything's probably fried.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They had fried flounder. just did not sound appetizing.
Gross.
Yes.
There it was. That breathe in is another thing I've learned about myself.
And segueing.
Literally, yeah. So, where were we?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about fried food, and it got me thinking about wanting fried food. But, yeah, morning times are special for me. What are the things that you like to do just personally? Not working on cakes, but maybe morning times you said are your sweet spots, right? That's your kind of high energy place.
Yes. So I will say I'm not like you.
What do you mean?
I'm not very routined like you. Granted, I do need to get better at a routine, but usually in the mornings, that's when I will have my coffee, and we have a swinging egg chair that I literally spent 3 years yearning for, and so I finally, after 3 years, justified the price of an egg chair. So usually I don't do it every day like I should. That's me tattling on myself.
Sure.
But I will do my devotions or read my Bible with my cup of coffee and my egg chair, and I try and do that first thing if I'm not doing a cake. So I should not put cakes as priorities like I do sometimes. Mm-hmm. But as a regular morning, I'll wake up, get my coffee, sit in my egg chair, and then do not work out. I hate working out. I hate everything about working out. I hate sweating. I understand. I hate putting on workout clothes. I get it. I hate. Bleh, yeah. Just hate. Loathe. Yeah. So I would do it sometimes because you peer pressure me into it because you want me to be better and you're a jerk.
Of course.
But yeah, that's really like the only like consistency I have in the morning is that, and then I'll get ready. But I don't really have routines.
Okay. So
like mental health is my anime veg out at night.
That's what I was going to ask you. So if your energy levels are the highest during the mornings, and that's when you try to do all those good things.
I'll clean the house in the morning. Like usually I'll get like the dishes done and pick up whatnot. Yeah. I don't clean at night. Yep.
So what are those things that you put toward the evening when your energy is the lowest and that has been good for you?
I'll usually just veg out with some anime, with some popcorn. That's nice. I'll try and cook dinner, but I usually try and get you to go out to eat if I really don't feel like it. Mm-hmm, but also, this is like hard for me because right now I'm not operating in my sweet spot because I don't have, like we just got back from Japan and then I have like these teacher training and I did like week with my sister at Carowinds and her kids. I'm so out of my rhythm and groove. Like, it's really annoying. Like, to the point of I almost feel borderline. Am I depressed? But I know I'm not. I just don't have a groove.
Yeah. That's super interesting. So, not to out you, but I think you may have outed yourself last week or something. But the last 2 days, so you've had teacher training basically this whole week.
Yes, it's been miserable.
Yesterday and today, you have had zero energy, zero motivation, and you've literally just kind of floating.
I think I fell asleep at like 8:30 on the couch.
Yeah.
Right? And I was in bed by 9.
Yeah. So would you say that, or does it resonate with you that when you are out of your sweet spot, out of your routines, out of your rhythms, that you find yourself experiencing those negative kind of feelings?
Oh yeah, because you've seen me in my groove. What was it? I got like 3 hours of sleep one time because I stayed up late decorating cookies.
You crazy.
There was one time, I don't recommend it, but my edible printer decided not to print and I was banking on it to do cookies. Did I wait till the last minute? Maybe.
No, you're trying to make it all fresh.
I do, and that's the thing. Well, the cookie, I hate cookies, but with cookies, you have to bake them in advance. You have to you have to flood them, and then I had them ready. I just thought I was going to print out the edible images and slap them on the cookies
just like
I already
normal.
had, in the perfect shape and everything. Yeah. And then my edible printer decided not to print blue.
Bum, bum, bum.
And it was like super detailed character cookies. So I literally remember I spent all night piping.
Yeah.
All night. And it was a cake too. It was cookies and cakes. And And so I spent literally all night piping it. And I did for the first time that coffee nap where like I think I went to bed at 8 and slept until 8:30 because then we had to do something. Yeah.
But you're saying...
But I was okay, is what I'm saying. Like,
and
with that lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it's like the sweet spot, but also I just knew it had to get done.
Sure.
So I was telling you, it's easy for me to wake up at 4 a.m.
Right.
when I have an agenda, an objective.
And a deadline.
And I know like, we gotta do this. There's no other option or I'm going to regret it.
Yeah. But
if I don't have anything, as you've seen, like since last week, remember you're like, do you want me to start trying to wake you up early? Boy, don't talk to me. Like, I was like,
Get that alarm out of my face.
I slept until like 8, 9 o'clock last week, you know?
Oh, I'd be sick. I'd have a migraine the size of Texas.
It wasn't the best, but also I wasn't operating at my sweet spot.
Sure. Yeah. You're very disciplined, I would say.
I get it done.
With the things that need to be done and that are important to you. Like even during your weight loss journey, I would say, when you had that goal, you ate smaller portions and things that I would be really struggling to, but you had the goal. And so you stuck to it because you had to get it done.
Also, I think caring has to do, because you said it aligns with the passion. So I had the passion to lose weight. So I think that's where it really, for me, the sweet spot is more passion than talent, because as you said in one of the episodes, I'm a jack of all trades. I can do anything.
You are.
I kind of hate it because I wish I was just really good at one thing. But then people say cakes, but we already talked about it.
Pretty good at a lot of stuff, though.
But see, I don't know. Maybe it's just my low self-esteem, or I just...
Yeah, same.
But, so I have talent, but I don't have passion for a lot of stuff. So I want my cookies and cakes to be good. I want them to be fresh. I want them to be set apart.
Sure.
So I do it.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about like Jesus in church, so like I love going to like all 3 services on Sunday. Let's go. We have a worship thing this night. Okay. Oh, we have a rally. Like if the church is open, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like even though I don't have to be, I don't get paid by the church, and thankfully we don't go to a church where they expect me as the wife to be there with every door open. But that's what I enjoy doing, you know. And I try and make sure I am biblically sharp and I know what I'm talking about and I know what I believe and I can defend my faith because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
But
passion's huge.
Yeah, other than cake and Jesus, I mean, I'm passionate, I guess, about finance.
Yeah. But I think you're right. I think it's that the 3 a.m. wake-ups and the 4 a.m. wake-ups and the operating on literally
30 minutes.
30 minutes of sleep.
I mean, I don't ever want to do that again.
Right. But because you had some other things that you were taking care of yourself in, other areas that you were not neglecting, it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to be like, hey, night before, I can't do your cookies.
Yeah. No, the deadline was definitely there. But I think that's why I always encourage people, man, when you are going through just stress on stress, and especially for me, when I first got hired on into the role of the creative pastor, we had a team of me and 2 other people, and we crushed it. We had 9 campuses that we were resourcing, and it was a great time. Well, a couple of months after starting, not even a couple of months, probably like a month after I started, one team member left, and suddenly it's just me and somebody else making content and resourcing 9 different churches, essentially, which is...
Still, y'all did great.
We crushed, and I'm very grateful for him. Shout
but
out
also,
Cody.
They don't know, before you got hired, it was the one person plus 3 other employees.
Right.
So you already started with 1 person less than the normal team.
Yeah, we were pretty much coming up to bat with, 2 strikes. Did you like that? That's a baseball reference.
Yeah, but I don't care about baseball. Why would I like it?
Because I wanted to put it in to show you that I'm well-rounded.
Oh, okay.
I'm a jack of all trades, Liz.
Proud of you.
I'm just like you.
All right, Jack.
No, but yeah. So that was a really difficult season, and then a few months after that one team member, the Lord moved him onto something a higher level.
Party of 1, Taylor.
And so it's literally me, and thank God we had already decided to start outsourcing some things. But I quickly realized that deadlines never stop. projects never stop coming. Somebody's always got a wild dream in their heart that they're wanting to accomplish, and they need flyers and videos and graphics for, and cards and all kinds of things. And so I quickly found myself just head over heels with all of the work, which is normally not a problem for an Enneagram 3 like me, you know? Like normally I can really lean into that work, but I was finding that I was getting overwhelmed and stressed.
Enneagram 3 is the achiever on a personality test.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
Definitely an achiever. And so I love crossing things off my list, but my days were filling up with stuff that I couldn't finish everything. And I would take that home and...
You were stressed.
It was horrible. And so and also you have to pair this. This is right when, at the time, my best friend / pastor was called to plant a church somewhere else.
You jerks.
So he left. No, you don't mean that.
I love you guys.
And so my best
Jerks.
friend in ministry, in life, transitions out of my life. And all of these teammates that worked for me are leaving. So I'm dealing with that stuff in my head.
Your wife's about to leave. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, wasn't that quite severe, thank God. But all these tensions started coming up, and I started going, what is happening? But I looked, and I was starting to neglect eating nice light foods. Like today I had rice, but I really intended to get a salad, but that's fine because I wanted to stay like mentally sharp. But I wasn't drinking water, I wasn't exercising, so all this stuff I wasn't taking care of myself.
You weren't reading, and you really enjoy reading.
Absolutely not. So I wasn't getting that outlet. I wasn't leading a small group, so I didn't have the outlet of sharing things with people, which gives me a lot of life. So all these things were piling on. So when people are experiencing these tensions in life, and maybe they've got a job change, or maybe like a family member has just passed away, and there's the grieving process married with the picking up the pieces afterwards, or maybe it's just that your kids have kind of gone crazy and you're adjusting to maybe having new kids or something like that. When you're in that season, you have to take care of you. Because I always tell people this, and again, I'm just ripping somebody completely off when I say it because I'm borrowing this from someone that I can't recall who it is right now. But you're no good to anybody else. What am I going to say, Liz?
I couldn't even remember what we were going to do 5 minutes after we said we were going to do it.
That's okay. Drink your ginseng tea for your memory. You're no good to anybody else until you're good to yourself.
Oh.
And unless I am taking in material by reading and growing my brain and my knowledge, unless I am drinking enough water to make sure that I'm hydrated and healthy, if I'm putting this good stuff into my body, you know what they say, garbage in, garbage out. If I'm doing this stuff and I'm taking care of myself, I can then be a blessing to those around me. But not until that point. Because then I'm just going to regurgitate what's inside. And if I'm not filling myself up with good stuff, it's just going to be negativity. It's going to be anxiety that I'm just mirroring from what's in my heart over to them, right? So it's not great. So it's always important to take care of yourself. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I would say through this whole thing, even if you find yourself not in your sweet spot, because a lot of times we aren't. Let's be honest. Sweet spots, I think, are seasonal. They're not always a continuous thing that you're living in. Sometimes you're feeling like you're just kind of walking uphill in the rain, or it's something else really, really difficult. But in those moments where maybe you're not feeling like you're in your sweet spot, still work through it, still push to stay in your healthy space, because sooner or later the rain's going to stop, right? Sooner or later the pavement's going to level out.
And the sun will shine.
Will shine. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't rain forever, right? It's not always going to be a bad day. It's not always going to be the most stressful season of your job. The kids are not always going to be wanting to make you pull your hair out.
The finances will not always be stressed.
Exactly. Nothing lasts forever. No season lasts forever. But also, no season is wasted. So when you're waiting and when you're in that uphill walk in the rain or whatever it is, we keep coming back to that for some reason. Always make sure that you're still making sure that you're healthy, still staying close to the Lord, still making sure that you can be ready when that rain stops and when that door opens. That's what I got, Liz.
I like it.
Do you have any last words for our friends in podcast land?
Yeah, I also feel like because for a long time, you kept on saying, I don't have a hobby. I wish I had a hobby. I feel you were just like kind of like searching
Yeah.
for an outlet, and that was before you really got into fitness. So if you don't have a sweet spot and you're kind of searching for it, I feel like it's okay. Like, don't stress. You'll find it. It will come naturally.
Sure.
Like your natural talents. And it doesn't really have to be, I feel like, necessarily you do, or it's almost like a performance. I feel like everyone's sweet spot look a little differently. And also a sweet spot can be replenishing because it is your sweet spot, but kind of like what I was saying with me with anime, like anime is a sweet spot for me, but it's doesn't really,
it's not replenishing.
It's not productive.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's different types of sweet spot. Not every sweet spot is productive type deal. Because if I, like my favorite, and I've told you this multiple times, my favorite way you love me is when you bring me coffee Saturday morning when I don't have a cake and I can sleep in. You literally wake me up with coffee and I can spend 2 hours watching anime.
Yeah.
And that's like just my like river of replenishing, and to me that's also a sweet spot.
Definitely, yeah. And I'll say this too as we kind of wrap up here because we're getting really close on time. If you don't have that quote unquote sweet spot, if you don't have that purpose, really loose air quotes there, because I don't want this to be like this is purpose, all that kind of stuff. Or if you don't even have like a hobby, we could zoom out even that far about that. Try stuff. Take the shotgun approach.
You've tried so many things.
Yeah. Don't do what I do, which is lean into your obsessive.
Then try,
correct.
And then not use the investment.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I just called you out.
Try a lot though. Go on a bike ride, play pickleball, go get a day pass at a aquatic center in another neighborhood. Do something that you don't do
listen
normally.
To music.
Yeah. Different music. Watch different genres of movies.
Yeah. Go to the pet store and
categories
pet dogs.
Movies. Yeah, or pet a ferret. There was a $400 ferret at the pet store.
I don't think they let you pet them.
No, you probably shouldn't. But
just
try stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be searching for and to be in the in-between because, as you said, sweet spots can change.
They do. I think they do. It's definitely seasonal, just like everything else in life. Everything is temporary. The only permanent thing in life is change.
I just thought you were going to say Jesus.
The only constant in life is Jesus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's all we have for you guys today. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure that you make sure that you rate this podcast and leave us a review so that we can get this in front of more people and they can join the conversation and continue to learn as well. And
if you do have a sweet spot, share it with us.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know. Maybe someone can see your comment and get inspired to try something new.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Sharing is caring in that. So thanks again for listening wherever you're listening, in your car and your job. You probably should be working, but you just got a podcast in or an AirPod in. But
that's okay.
Exactly. Because you're trying something new. You're listening to podcasts. Look at you go. We're so proud of you.
Okay, just wrap it up, Taylor.
Good job. Hey, so thanks again for listening. We will see you again next Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.